Welcome to another Chard Francis podcast production. Enjoy, my friends!
After the sun goes down and the shadows creep in, the stories you thought you knew aren't the ones you remember. This is Chard Francis. After Dark.
Thanks for tuning in to the Chard Francis podcast, After Dark series, the place where nostalgia takes a sharp turn into the shadows. Here, the stories you thought you knew get stripped down, twisted, and rebuilt into something far less familiar. Tonight, we're not just walking down memory lane, we're wandering into a street where the lights have long since gone out. A street you thought you knew, a street that raised us all. Welcome to Chard Francis After Dark, and this is a story, When the Lights Went Out, a Sesame Street tragedy. The world always thought Sesame Street would last forever, a sunny place where monsters were kind, where innocence lived in primary colors. But forever ended the night Elmo went on a popular late-night talk show. And on that late-night talk show, Elmo was asked a simple question. How do you and the gang blow off steam after all those sunny days? What came out of his mouth wasn't quite fit for children. With a grin, he leaned into the mic and said, Sesame Street? Oh, it gets freakier than a Diddy party at 3 a.m. Big Bird doesn't just shake his tail feathers. He molts them on the dance floor. Cookie Monster? It's not cookies he's eating at the after party. And Bert and Ernie, let's just say Elmo's seen things that make the FCC wash Elmo's mouth out with soap. The audience gasped. The host panicked. But Elmo wasn't done. His voice dropped low, dark, playful. You think the C is for cookie? Elmo thinks the C is for cocaine. The broadcast cut to black. Within days, the show was gone. Cameras packed up, sets dismantled, the street was abandoned, left to rot in silence. But the characters remained, and when the lights went out, so did their sanity. Elmo was the spark that lit the blaze, and he knew it. He paced the cracked sidewalks, muttering like a doomsday preacher, his voice hoarse from screaming apologies into the empty night. Elmo didn't mean it. Elmo just wanted to make you laugh. His fur, once bright red and soft, was now clotted with dirt and blood from clawing at walls and tearing tufts out of himself in shame. At times he'd nail crudely written apologies onto boarded windows with his tiny hands, his handwriting shaky, smeared with crimson fingerprints. Some nights, when the paranoia peaked, he'd smash old TVs and dumpsters with bricks, convinced the FCC was watching him through static. Big Bird turned first to desperation, then to violence. He sold his feathers on the black market, each one plucked with shaking talons until his golden body looked more diseased than divine. Collectors called them the last relics of innocence, but the act hollowed him out. When the feathers ran thin, he began hunting pigeons in the alleys, ripping them apart, laughing as he whispered, "Feathers are feathers, they all sell the same." By winter, children whispered about a gaunt, half-plucked figure roaming the alleys, dragging a sack that bled through the bottom. Without his endless supply of cookies, Cookie Monster crumbled. He scavenged bakeries at first, smashing glass for stale crumbs, But sweets weren't enough. Soon he was chasing powders and pills with the same frenzy, shouting cookies until the word didn't mean cookies anymore. It meant whatever substance would quiet the hunger tearing him apart. His mouth, once a black pit for laughter, became ringed with sores and sugar-burnt gums. On nights when the drugs ran dry, he was found rocking in gutters, chewing gravel and glass, spitting blood and whispering, "Still good, still cookie." Oscar never hated it. No cameras, no lessons, just trash. He built himself a fortress from rusted barrels, barbed wire, and broken bottles. Stray dogs patrolled for him, snarling out of alleys as if summoned. He began broadcasting again, but not for children. His trash talk show streamed on stolen frequencies. Hours of Oscar hurling venomous rants at the world, punctuated with the sound of bottles breaking and muffled screams. He decorated his can with bones. It was the first time Oscar smiled in decades. The roommates couldn't survive together. Bert, obsessed with order, gambled away his sanity in underground dens. He lined up pigeons in cages, betting on their blood. His neat hair fell out in clumps as he lost, yet he kept returning, muttering statistics under his breath. Ernie sank lower. His laughter, once harmless, was sold in hourly doses. He rented himself in cheap motels, still clutching his rubber ducky while strangers came and went. When questioned, he laughed that same laugh children once loved. But now it echoed off peeling walls, hollow and wrong. Sometimes he painted his face yellow to remember the sunshine. The Count lost his mind when counting stopped. He roamed the alleys at night with a broken cane sharpened to a point. He no longer counted apples or bats, he counted bodies. 1, he'd cry as the cane pierced the throat. 2, as blood pooled beneath his shoes. By dawn, stray dogs dragged corpses into the gutters, and thunder rolled, not from the sky, but from his laughter echoing through the ruined set. By spring, Sesame Street was no longer Sesame Street. The cheerful murals were graffitied over with blood and filth. The song, the one everyone remembered, sometimes played faintly from a warped cassette left in a trash pile. The lyrics twisted by time and tape hiss. Sunny days, sweeping the bodies away. Tourists avoided the block. Parents warned their children never to wander near. But some nights, if you stood at the corner where Mr. Hooper's store once stood, you'd swear you could see them. Shadows of monsters, broken and bleeding, waiting for an audience that would never return. Thanks for walking with me down the darkened street tonight. What once was sunny and full of laughter now echoes with shadows, and maybe a reminder that nothing innocent ever stays untouched forever. This has been When the Lights Went Out, a Sesame Street tragedy. I'm Chard Francis, and I want to thank you for listening, supporting, and keeping the fire lit for stories that go places others won't. Make sure to follow, subscribe, and share if you enjoyed this dive into the darker corners of nostalgia. And as always, stay curious, stay strange, and I'll see you next time on the Chard Francis podcast. See ya.